Welcome to Songwriter in the House with two old dogs, John Byrum and Mike Anderson.
We're still here, still playing to win. Two old souls forever plugged in.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm John Byrum. We are back.
Yes, we are. And I'm Mike Anderson. And today we're going to be tackling a topic that's getting quite a lot of attention in the music world these days. We're talking about AI generated music creation.
Yeah, artificial intelligence, it's kind of a scary subject. And depending on who you talk to, it's like AI is either going to be the future of music or the death of it.
Exactly. But instead of leaning into that fear, today we want to focus on the upsides, just how AI can actually help songwriters like me and John and you guys out there listening and watching, musicians and producers do what they already do, just do it better, right, John?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But let's break this down. Let's get right into this. You know, let's start with something that we all know too well as songwriters, like you and I both know, and that's creative block.
Absolutely. If you're staring at a blank DAW screen, looping the same 8 bars, and just hoping that inspiration is magically going to show up, I got news for you, it's not.
No, it's not. But you know what? This is where AI really stands out. You can ask it for chord progressions, melodic ideas, rhythm variations, even it doesn't matter what genre you want to put it in, it will go with you.
It will indeed. And let me tell the folks out there just a little bit about when I first started with AI myself. Okay, I started out with a program called Suno, and you're quite aware of this. And I just wanted to kind of check it out. You know how we being musicians all of our lives, we want to kind of check out the new stuff because, well, to be honest with you, I might not be around for the next go around if this is the revolution, right? So anyway, I wanted to check it out and just see what it was about. And it kind of really scared me to death when I really heard it good. Now, the first version I think was 3.5 or something like that, John.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Version 3. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I wasn't real impressed. But by the time that 4.5 rolled around,
oh man,
I thought, man, this might be something. Who knows? And then 5.5, oh Lord. But anyway, well, needless to say, I'm excited about the whole deal, and whether it all works out or not, who knows? It's brand new stuff, right?
It is brand new stuff, and it's like all the tools that have come before it. It's a tool to be used, but it needs to be used correctly and ethically.
Right.
It's like starting a fire, and you're the one that building the fire.
Yeah, you are, and it takes that spark from the human to create it right.
It does. It does. That's the idea. And it because of that, it speeds up the workflow.
Speeds it up altogether. That's another major advantage is speed. Making things move real fast because AI kind of removes all the friction or a lot of it from the creative process.
Oh, absolutely. Instead of spending an hour or 2 hours, time to dial in a rough beat or a good placeholder melody, you can generate something instantly and keep moving and adapt as you go along.
And that's huge for staying in flow. Every time you stop to troubleshoot or search endlessly for sounds, you're trying to get the right sound, that creative momentum kind of disappears.
And boy, once you lose it, it's gone. And AI helps you stay focused on creating and not clicking through a bunch of menus that I don't know what means anything.
Right.
But Slick, it levels the playing field. One of the most exciting things about AI music tools is they're accessible. They're everywhere.
Yeah, and not everybody has access to high-end studios, expensive instruments, or years of production training, and all kinds of money.
Oh, much money. But it gives newer creators, younger creators, people who are just getting into this a chance to explore what they hear in their head. The harmonies, the arrangements. They're the creator, and there's things they wouldn't have heard before, thought of before.
So it doesn't really replace learning musicianship, but it kind of accelerates it. It lets folks experiment early instead of waiting years to earn the right to create.
Boy, that's important too, Slick. Um, you know, it- what is it Ted Graves fond of saying in Nashville? Songs aren't written; they're rewritten,
That's right.
and that's true. And so there's a lot of collaboration in writing songs. And a great example is you and me. We've written a whole bunch together, and but a lot of people look at AI as their competition. But it's a whole lot better to look at it as a collaborator.
Kind of a collaborator that never gets tired and always has another idea ready.
Ideas. You're not kidding. That gets back to the first part, the block. But anyway, you can ask AI to remix your songs in different styles. You suggest harmonies or reimagine an arrangement. You're the director.
And then when you choose what works, you're still a creative director.
Absolutely.
AI just kind of gives you options.
Boy, it does that. Um, you know, Producers in particular can really benefit a lot from AI generated music. And I don't know why they're not. I mean, I'm sure they are taking advantage of it. We're just not aware of it. I'd rather be spending my time creating the music rather than doing all this other stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not replacing the final production. It's just speeding it up, making it faster, as did autotune, as did, you know, 24 track, 36 track tapes. It's digital, going digital. It's a tool, and we gotta take advantage of it.
I remember drum machines used to be a tool.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, of course, digital audio workstations much later on, but drum machines were a tool. I remember when they came out. Space drums. Remember a space drum?
I do
Remember
remember.
a drummer one time that played with me had a space drum. That was a big deal, right? It was just something else to add to it to make it a little more exciting. But I remember, and I realized too that MIDI, and I'm sure all the musicians out there are pretty much familiar with MIDI, so I don't have to go into that. But it's been around a long time. I'm talking years.
Oh yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
All right, 20 years, maybe
at
longer.
least, at least. So, that people use MIDI now for just about everything. It's crazy how they use MIDI. So
Yeah,
that's another
sure do.
tool. There's a bunch of them
Mhm.
out there.
There are a whole bunch of them out there, and individual artists use new tools like the loopers. Uh, they get a rhythm going, and all of a sudden they're playing with themselves. That didn't sound good, did it? Uh, on stage, but accompanying themselves.
Accompanying themselves. Yeah,
Yeah, on stage, and it's amazing technology. But they adapted, and now they're using it to their benefit.
absolutely. Another underrated benefit is experimentation, and AI makes it easy to try ideas that you might normally avoid because they feel risky or time consuming.
Yeah, you can blend genres, country pop or whatever. Explore new textures and test unusual arrangements. Maybe you hear something that that's really unique to what you're trying to do, and it doesn't take hours to do all these. This is pretty quick. It happens pretty quick, doesn't it?
It sure does. So, Riley, we're gonna look at an example of how we took a song we wrote many years ago, John and I, and put it back in to Suno to get an idea of what they might think about it. When I say they, I mean the computer. What the computer might think about this song. Okay,
Mhm.
so Suno took the song, okay, and kind of re-engineered it and rethought about it. Is that the word? Right, the right word, John?
Yeah, it did. It took the words that we wrote and the music that we wrote, and it interpreted it the way differently than what we interpreted the song, but it kept its essence. It kept its, kept its soul of the song. It was pretty cool, actually.
It didn't make an actual copy of it. It kind of covered the song.
Yeah,
So
that's a great point.
it made a cover of the song. And so here's what our original song sounded like. Okay, if I can find the button to hit it. This is what the original song sounded like, and we'll give you just a little bit of that, and then we'll play the Suno version, okay? There's magic in the air, moonlight dancing on your hair, the smell of honeysuckle vine. When I'm with you, my world is fine. Oh, how I've longed to touch your face, feel the warmth of your embrace. My love for you will never end, to the moon and back again. Long ago, for me I knew you need something borrowed, something blue, pretty eyes that sparkle and shine. I knew that one day you'd be mine, pretty eyes that sparkle and shine. Okay, that's our original song, right, Worm?
Yeah, and just as folks, as an FYI, Mike did most of the instrumentation on that. I played the 12-string on it, and that was recorded in your little basement studio down there.
It sure was. About 2017, something like that?
Yeah, something 16, 17.
We uploaded the audio into Suno, and Suno took a look at it and came back and said, this is what our idea is of Pretty Eyes. So here we go.
There's magic in the air, moonlight dancing on your hair, the smell of honeysuckle vine. When I'm with you, my world is fine. Oh, how I've longed to touch your face, feel the warmth of your embrace. My love for you will never end, to the moon and back again. Long ago, for me, I knew you'd need something borrowed, something blue, pretty eyes that sparkle and shine. One day you'd be mine, pretty eyes that sparkle and
shine. So not a completely different song, but a different song, a different take on it of our song, right, Byrum?
There's a couple of things that it added that I just absolutely love. Number one is the multi-part harmonies with the higher harmonies. And the fact that, I don't know, it has a different vibe. The first one, it kind of had a tropical vibe to it, like you're sitting on the beach somewhere in Miami or somewhere down there.
Yeah.
The second one was sitting on the beach in Cabo San Lucas. Just a little different.
I like the echo on it. I like their concept there.
I
hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of the echo. So. Anyway, folks, you realize how you can take a song you've written, 30 years ago or longer, I guess, longer, and put it into Suno or into one of these AI machines, and it'll come back and create the song for you, or do a cover of it. Okay, so you can actually hear your song in different style. Maybe you didn't think of it before that way, and you heard
Yeah,
it. And you thought, "Golly, that's a neat idea." Why didn't I think of that?
yeah, no kidding. You got to think of it as a second set of ears,
Right.
because the thing that I think you and I do well is that we send ideas back and forth. And don't take offense if we want to make a change or something. That's
Right.
part of the process.
That's right.
And just think of it as that. It helps you out.
Well, it won't replace intuition, but it
No,
can absolutely support better decisions, right?
Absolutely. When I hear a song that I've written, the way I wrote it, and then have it come back to me a little bit differently, I'm like, why didn't I think of it? That's beautiful. That's exactly what it needed.
Hey, I should have thought of that. What did I think of that? So it gives you other creative possibilities. All it does.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it AI cannot put emotion, or they don't have the life experience or the intention. It doesn't bring any of that into, because it just hasn't. It's simply a computer that puts your ideas together, and you choose. You've got to put in the emotion and the life experience, et cetera, et cetera.
That's the human part.
Absolutely.
AI brings the speed, variation, and technical assistance, but we have to provide the human part, right?
Absolutely. They opened doors that didn't exist before. Slick, remember when the Surfers way back in the 60s, we recorded those songs on a 2-track tape.
It was a 2-track Wallensack recorder. I never forget.
Wallensack recorder.
It was made with a mono head, a playback head, and recording head, just to record dictation is what it was.
And if you recall, we had to put it in the men's room while we played outside just to get the balance right.
Yeah, because it had no automatic gain control. I mean, what you recorded was what you got.
It's what you got. Yeah, that was it. There was no mixing.
Back then, we were pretty proud of our amplifier, so we had them kind of loud too, I'm sure.
I had mine on 11.
Oh yeah, we all had them loud. But anyway, it's just another tool, and we thought at that time we didn't even know what a cassette recorder was, right? We just we kind of knew, but we didn't have one, so maybe they hadn't come out yet. I'm not sure. I don't think they had.
I don't think so either.
So AI is just the next evolution, right?
It really is. It truly is. So, if you're a songwriter or a musician or a producer feeling unsure about AI, like I did at first, I was very skeptical.
So was I.
But think of it like a tool that changed music history. I'll be the first to admit, Slick, I've used it a couple of times to get me over humps. So,
oh yeah.
But think about all the stuff that it does: the multi-track recording, synthesizers, digital audio workstations. That's what we used to use.
Right.
And had to combine all that stuff, and it took hours and dollars and lots of stuff.
Right. So it's a lot cheaper now for the production. You can do some of the production a lot faster. Well, all of the production, really, a lot faster than you ever could. Lots of collaboration, and just a whole different way of thinking about things. Well, folks, thanks for watching and listening. If this episode helped shift your perspective, share it with a fellow creator. And we've had fun, right, John? I've had all kinds of fun doing this.
I've had a blast, man. I love doing this. So, guys, until next time, when we take the other point of view and explore the bad side of AI, and there are plenty of them.
They are.
Keep experimenting, keep creating, and keep pushing your sound forward. So for Two Old Dogs, John Byrum and Mike Anderson, we are out of here.
Join us next time for Songwriter in the House with Two Old Dogs, John Byrum and Mike Anderson.